Now, cyber safety is something that you become very aware of, particularly if you are a parent. Personally speaking here, I'm petrified about the idea that the wrong people are trying to contact my little girls online, so you take all the precautions that you can, but at the same time it is a complex place, the internet, and that is why the story written by Nicole Cox from watoday.com.au about a former WA policeman who has now turned full-time into cyber safety, started a business called Surf Online Safe. His name is Paul Litherland and he joins us now. G'day, Paul.
Hi Peter, how you going?
You're going really, really well, mate. Tell us a little bit about your former career in the police force and what prompted you to say, no, I've got a calling and cyber safety is that calling.
Well, since joining the police barely 20 years ago, I've always had an interest in education and especially working with kids and adults in all aspects of life, let alone cyber safety. So it was just something over the last 5 to 6 years in particular, I got a key interest in. So it really just evolved from there, and difficulties with being a full-time police officer and trying to get Surf Online Safe up and running and focus on that too became very, very difficult because the popularity and the interest in cyber safety was just massive. So yeah, I decided last month to pull the pin and focus solely on my Surf Online.
Okay, and the general knowledge out there, Paul, are you finding that there's a lot to learn, particularly for parents, about the ways that some nasty people online are trying to groom our children?
Yeah, I think the gap between parents, I suppose, not knowing as much about computers and the applications and the systems our kids are using compared to the age now that the kids are actually getting online is widening. So it's important that we sort of focus on that, and I do emphasise that point a fair bit in all my presentations in trying to close that gap and give parents a little bit more understanding as to how the systems work and where our kids are falling down.
And your presentations, are they primarily through schools? And if they are, what sort of ages? And what other groups do you present to?
Mate, I normally target the high schools. They are all year groups from year 7 right up to year 12, but we also look at targeting, I mean, there'll be a number of your listeners who may well have also been involved in similar things like romance scams and online fraud and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. I also get out to a lot of community centres and public libraries and all that sort of stuff and try to educate as many people as I can on the pitfalls of the online world.
Okay, so there's many different facets to cyber safety, of course, Paul, and there's a lot of ground to cover. Does that include things like cyber bullying and harassment, those sorts of things, which are big issues for kids? Yeah,
bullying's really taken off, I believe, in the last 18 months to 2 years, especially for the younger age groups, probably that 12 to 14-year age group. There's a number of websites that are out and about that give kids that anonymity to really go hammer and tong, mate. So yeah. It's a very big issue at the moment that a lot of parents have concerns for. So I do throw a lot of information and some good experience towards the kids in regards to that as well, and give them a full understanding of how not only being the victim of cyberbullying can be very stressful, but also the other side of the coin in regards to those who are bullying, the effects it can have on them as well if they're caught out or if worst case scenario the police decide to charge them with that type of offence.
We're speaking with Paul Litherland, former policeman, 21 years I believe, now educates students and others about cyber safety through his business Surf Online Safe. In your experience, Paul, is sexting still prevalent out there? Is it growing? Do the kids not realise how dangerous this practice can be?
I don't think sexting is growing per se. I do believe that kids are becoming more risky, and it is a pretty good issue for many schools around the state, because kids tend to be a lot more open with their images online and sort of sharing that information with their peers and with boyfriends or girlfriends. And I think with the online world in particular, a lot of our kids are still of the assumption that if something's sent electronically and And as an example, a girl sends her boyfriend a nude, let's say, and he promises that he'll never send it on. But it's such a massive decision to make, and it's not like it's a physical photo where that could hopefully be ripped up or destroyed or lost. But once it's online, it's there forever potentially, and more importantly, the trust factor is, as much as that relationship may be great at the time, but if it does break down, then there's always that fear that that image will get out there. So that's one of the biggest concerns most parents have, and what a lot of the kids don't really understand at this stage, or this early stage of their lives.
And Paul, speaking about trust, tell us a little bit about, I found this very interesting in Nicole Cox's article on watoday.com.au. Tell us about the Gemma Francis experiment.
I created a false profile on a popular social networking site through most of the schools I present to. It's a terrific social experiment, and it gives a good explanation to the kids about how vulnerable their information really is. And it's a great tool because the kids tend to be very trusting of people they meet online, and they'll have someone like yourself and I, Peter, if we meet someone online for the first time, we're very cautious initially. We won't let them into our world, but what our teens tend to do is just have a look first, see who it is, let's accept them as a friend, and if we're interested in them, we'll keep them there, but if not, then we'll get rid of them. So it's amazing how many kids actually do accept a friend request from my profiles, but it's not surprising in the fact that it's quite common. So it's just a matter of trying to, as I said, it's a great tool for them to see that they accept a stranger into their world, and basically that person now knows as much as they can about them, especially the stuff they're posting. So it's important for them to see that. So it assists them in developing and monitoring their safety online, and gives them a good reminder as such to how vulnerable they can be.
And what kind of reaction do you get, Paul, when you stand up in front of a school group and say, well, 75% of you have accepted me as a friend, I know a lot about you, I'm actually not Gemma Francis, I'm Paul Litherland?
You get some varied responses. It sounds weird, but every now and again you'll get a ooh or a oh my god. But that's a great reaction, because that's the reaction you want. But when I first put that profile up on the screen and the kids see it, the silence in the room says it all, and it's great to hear. And in subsequent years with the schools I repeat my visits to, the next year I don't actually tell the kids who I am. So again, that's a very important tool, because now they have to go home and try to find if I am on their system, if I am one of their friends, because if they've got, say, 30 or 40 friends that they're not sure of, then it gives them an understanding of, oh, maybe I should clean out my system.
And you might have to change that name now, Paul, now that it's out in the open.
Nicole's burnt me there, mate, so I've already destroyed that one, so that's
okay,
fine.
come up with a new one. Good on you. Thanks for your time today.
All right, thanks, Billy, and thanks to your listeners.
No worries. Paul Litherland, former policeman, and then decided, no, I'm going to dedicate myself to cyber safety, such as the demand for presentations and education in this area. His business is Surf Online Safe, and plenty of schools are utilising his services.